Please patronize our sponsors who support the Guild and our mission to educate members and non-members to enjoy and enrich their woodworking skills and experiences. You Pick Hardwood Lumber, Beaver Industrial Supply, Rockler Woodworking and Hardware, and the W.D. Quinn Saw Company.
All right. To start with. Coming up is a superstar weekend. Dan.
So I spoke with Phil Morley this week. I got a bunch of questions that he needs to answer, but he's right now in Mark Adams' School of Teaching for 7 days. So when he gets back, I should have more about what he's going to present and how he's going to present it. And we're arranging his travel here, but Phil's excited to come here. And right now, the registration is open on our website. So please go to the website and register. It's $50 for an all-day affair. Starts at 9 o'clock. We're going to try to have the building open by probably 8:15. We're going to have, if you want to call it breakfast, we'll have breakfast, but it's bagels or donuts and coffee and water and sodas. And then we're going to have a boxed lunch for everyone, and that's all inclusive in your $50. So I'm sure you're going to find something in there worth your time and your money. So look forward to having you there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Classes. Corey's still working on classes for next year. He got a bunch of new stuff. Anything else you want to talk about, Corey? No. Okay, you're good? All right. And then for presentations for next year, we're looking for members who have any type of skill who wants to give a presentation on their woodworking skills, their abilities, something that they build. Like to try to keep a lot of it in the learning piece on woodworking for the next year. So if anybody wants to volunteer to put on a presentation, let Corey know. Or me. Corey would be better. Bob, there he is, hats and aprons. We got hats and aprons. All right. Okay, and then we come down to raffle again. Only one winner per person per night, but that's okay. We got what, 3 or 4 things down here on the raffle, plus the 2 gift cards, so we're doing good. Tonight's auction, silent auction, is back on the back table. I'm going to end that at 8:15. Found out that 8:30 last month was way too late. The next one we can forget about because we're not done with that one yet. All right. Mike or Jay? Who wants to talk next? Here comes Jay. There's a microphone.
Testing. Okay. Most of you probably have never heard of an organization called the Society of American Period Furniture Makers, SAPFM. So there are only a few of us in the guild that are members of that, and right now I know of Mike Sistek, myself, and he knows a few more than I do. So we are kind of excited, Mike and I, that they are going to have a in-person meeting for the first time in years, actually, of our geographic area people that are in that society. And it will be a week from Saturday at Woodcraft. So instead of it being way far away in our geographic area, it happens to be right here. Happy to say that Mike Sistek is the one who actually arranged for it to be there. Cal Hobbs, who a lot of us know as being, I don't know if he still is or was still the president of the Kansas City Woodworkers Guild. Really a great guy, and good to know him as well. So anyway, it is open to people who have a significant interest. So if you think you have an interest, significant interest, and want to learn more and so on, either Mike or I can give you the contact information for Mr. Hobbs to kind of set your place to be able to actually come to that meeting. Just show up. I think it's from 9 to 1. And after that will be a visit to and a tour of the same house in Palace Park that many of us who went to the picnic actually went to a few weeks ago. But if you hadn't been there, it's really worth going to. So he's only, you know, Woodcraft, most of you, it's not that big. So we can't have 100 people, we can't have everybody in this room show up for the meeting. In fact, I would suggest that if you have a significant interest in period furniture, even considering it, then you need to maybe get in contact with Mr. Hobbs so we can kind of keep that number. He's only expecting about 16, 17 people. Yeah, or so you can contact Mike or I as well. But ultimately, I think he needs to know how many people to expect. So it can't be a huge number. But if you have an interest, even tonight, you can talk to Mike or I, and we can give you more information about that. So, any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jay. Back here in the back table, close to the back table, in front of the toy table, you'll see this is all of the toys that are going to be on the Festival of Trees that was turned in for tonight. When we get done here, what we're going to do is we're going to pack all of those up. We're going to take those down to the Gateway 500 room. So if you want to stick around and help for a little bit to move some boxes, I'd appreciate it. Next coming up, which is not on my report. Sorry for not having anything on top of the tables, or this thing is kind of short. The Guild laptop went down right after last month's meeting. A week later, my personal laptop went down. I just got him back up and working this past week, and I could not get the printers to work on my home network until late this afternoon, so I didn't have much time to get them out, so sorry about that. So coming up next is everybody, we answered the new shop survey. Person who's supposed to give this is not here tonight, so I'm having to read off of a PC. Actually, out of 350 members, we had a good turnout. We had 182 answers. People actually responded to it. And the way it works, the way it looks like, 71% of the people voted for a new shop, which that's a pretty good number. 88%. I'm only going to hit on a couple that really make sense, and this is the support for raising dues. The dues have been at this rate for, I want to say, what, 10 years? Am I close? More? Okay. So, oh. 8 years. So we're looking, we're in looking for that. So be on the lookout for that. Probably not going to be any time really too soon, but we're going to come up with a date. And the cost that most people voted for was anywhere between $75 and $100 for the year. Is the highest, was 55% of the people voted for that money. So that's where we're at. They're still looking on stuff. Building committee wants to put this out that if you know of a lot, a building to rent, preferably from here south, let's say maybe between here and Fenton, let the building committee know. We got Jay and Bill here, that's part of the building committee. I know I'm part of the building committee. Corey, you're part of the building committee. So you could just, if, come up with anything. If you can't get hold of Bill or Jay, get hold of one of us and we'll get the information to them and they'll be looking at it. So, now we have a special presentation.
Thank you, Brian. My name is Charlie Wilson. I live in Friendship Village, right off Olive, over here in near the Faust Park Workshop. Our little wood shop in Friendship Village has a dust collection problem, or had, I should say. Our dust collection system was not much more than a shop vac with a "please use this" sign on it. You probably know how much that worked. Well, I ran into Bill Schucott over at the Friendship Village, over at the Faust Park Workshop. And we got to talking about the wood dust collection problem. And he volunteered nicely to come over and help us take a look at what we've got and what we could do with it. Needless to say, it's an improvement. What we've got now, thanks to a couple of hours of Bill over there talking about stuff, we've got a Grizzly top or up and down bag cyclone that connects about 8 of our units around the edge of the shop, and then a separate one, an older model that's in the middle of the wood shop, connecting the table saw and our remote or movable planer that we can move up. We are just about dust free, and we're just really happy about that. So we wanted to thank Bill for his help. And we couldn't figure out what we could get him. But we didn't think any woodworker would ever turn down a new saw blade. So, Bill, we've got a new saw blade for you.
Come on up, Bill.
This is to thank you, Bill, from Friendship Village for your mastery of wood particle collection. Thank you. That's me with the upside. Thank you, Bill. Thanks again,
All right.
Brian.
Thank you. Upcoming classes. So there was one upcoming classes. You could tell we're getting towards the end of the year. One class had to be canceled and moved because of a family emergency. So the only one coming up right now is on November 2nd. It's a hand playing class, and so far there's 5 available. Only one person has signed up for that one, so that one's coming up. Next. New members. We have any new members here tonight? And visitors. Stand up and wait for a microphone and tell us about yourself.
Hey, my name is Kirk Zoff, and I'm new. My father-in-law, Walter Henderson, was a longtime guild member, and I'm kind of trying to carry on the legacy. So I'm learning. I've made 2 cutting boards at Woodcraft, and I'll sell them to you for $500. I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Welcome.
My name's Dave Schuster.
Hi, Dave.
My name's Jim Hesberg. Been making a lot of sawdust in my garage for a while, but I'm going to retire soon and just wanted to maybe learn some more.
All right. Welcome.
My name is Alan Jurgens. I just moved into Chesterfield from Idaho, and I'm relatively new to woodworking. I actually lost my shop when I moved, so I thought maybe the guild could help pick up the slack for that.
Yep. Yeah, we can.
I'm still Charlie Wilson. I'm making cutting boards and trivets over at Friendship Village, and we sell them at a bazaar in November. So you're welcome to come buy some of them. Thank you. Not at $500.
All right. Welcome. Anybody else? I don't think so. Whoop, there's one way over here.
Hi, I'm Brendan Alfonso. I have a small shop in my basement, and I've made at least 2 cutting boards and a bunch of crosses.
All right. Welcome. Oh, community outreach. So far this year, we have delivered 1,077 toys to the hospitals, collected 1,722. So we're doing a great job. I know for a while we were slacking off a little bit because the hospitals weren't asking for any. So now we're revving back up, so we're getting caught up and getting good. Okay, community outreach. Tom's not here tonight, so we don't have any wood, but he said if the tables that we have, and I saw we had 2 brought in, I'm going to put that into the cabinet at the end, and Tom will pick those up tomorrow. Boom, man, Christmas toy. I just like this Prog thing, so I just use it month after month. So center table, like I said, has got all the Festival of Trees toys in it, and Wayne should be winding down pretty soon. Probably the beginning of December. So if you still want to come out 2 Fridays a month from 10 to 2, come on out, make some toys. To do next. Okay, questions and answers. So I got the first one. And if somebody can tell me what these are, if they need them or whatever, I'll give them to them free. Hands. Okay, Hal. I'll try to hold still. So this was part of all of the stuff that we have in the silent auction and stuff. This is a thing that...
It's a plane blade.
For what kind of plane?
45 or 55. Or others? Stanley 45 or Stanley 55.
Oh, okay. I couldn't find anything on it. There's a small set here that's only got a few things in it. It has this. Leo wants them? Leo can have them. You were the first one to yell out that it's what it was. I had no idea. All right. Sure. Thank you. But let me tell you, that was quick. We were talking about that at the beginning when we first got here, and we didn't know what it was. Show and tell.
I brought in a couple of my jigs that I find very handy. These are on mag switches, and they're from varying strength quite a bit. I think these are 40. I think this is 150. I use this one for on my bandsaw. You know, an easy to move guide. You can keep it back far enough from the blade so that if you have to adjust the angle a bit, you know, you can do that. I use it for a stop when I'm cutting on the table saw to help guide. I use this one on the drill press, and I have a lot of holes in it to put them wherever I want because it depends on where the item is on my drill press table, and so I need to have lots of options, and I don't screw them in. It's just as easy to leave free. This one is a 30-degree guide. I have a 1x42-inch belt sander that I put on a leather stropping belt and stropping compound. So for stropping my plane blades, I use that, and I have a couple other guides, you know, that I set up in advance. This one is a real heavy-duty one. I think it's 150 pounds too. And when I'm setting something up and it moves around on me, I sometimes set this behind it, you know, if it's on a metal table. So that makes it very handy. And I originally cut the holes out, you know, with a scroll saw, but I have a 30 and a 40 degree bit will take care of these just fine. The ones that are square shaped have, I don't think they're 1/4-20. They might be 6 millimeter holes for mounting whatever you wish to mount to them. So I bought mine from K-Tools. Very happen to be in Columbia. I like their shop very much, and they have sales on their items at times. And I also bought them directly from Mag Switch. And you just have to kind of watch. Sometimes they have this set of in 150. Two of them is $98, including the drill bit for the mounting. And of course, like I say, you can move them around pretty easily. 3/4 inch board or thereabouts is all that's needed to in terms of depth. So.
Those have various strengths. They're different.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is, I think, 40, and this is might be 60 or 90. It might be 95. But yeah, they definitely come in different strengths, and they come in different shapes. So you can see these are equal strength, but different shapes. They both have a flat though that allows you to mount stuff to them. Anyway, so happy to play with them. They turn off and on, obviously, or maybe not obviously, but if you don't turn them off, they'll stick to whatever metal. Thank you.
Man. Hello? Yeah, question, Leo.
Oh, questions?
Yeah. Have you found that you needed the larger strength, or was the less strength?
I'm sorry, again?
The magnets have different strength on them, right? Different forces. You said 40 pounds. And
yeah.
Yeah. Have you found that you needed to have 150? Would the 60 or 40 have worked?
The 40s, I found two 40s on here don't hold well enough. It depends on what you're doing. Some things get a bump, and it might be enough to make it move on you. So I've liked having the bigger ones than the first line that they have. Okay,
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this month's program is brought on by Rockler. And here's Bob Keller, and he is going to talk about shop vac systems.
All right, guys.
Jeez, we've got a pretty good.
So tonight I thought I'd start by introducing you to a broom and a dustpan. We all knew what that was, but this is the original dust collection system. It is not very efficient. Most people don't like to do it this way. So we're going to move on and try our latest and greatest product here. And I brought it in with me. Rockler just introduced this about a month and a half ago. If you haven't seen the videos on it, I'm about to show you one. This tool was delayed by about 6 months, I think. Originally, when it came out, they were talking about it being very quiet, and they just were not satisfied with the results of the original design. So as you'll see in the video, it's very, very quiet. It's hard to see. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring a plug-in power tool to demonstrate it live. So we're going to watch the professionals at Rockler tell you all about it.
Every woodworking shop needs a vacuum for cleaning up. But how about one that's also super quiet with tool activation and a premium quality filter? Well, that's what you'll get with Rockler's Dust Right tool-activated HEPA dust extractor. This machine might look like the typical mid-size shop vacuum, and it's up to task for all of the usual shop vacuum jobs. But it's called a dust extractor for a reason. Let's take a closer look at several important features that set it apart. The first is filtration. This extractor has a HEPA premium quality pleated cartridge filter. The HEPA filter removes up to 99.97% of dust particles as small as 0.3 microns. So you can vacuum up the finest dust your woodworking machines produce without concern that some of it is just being blown back into the air again. This HEPA cartridge is made of a durable filter media that's washable for a long service life. And when it finally wears out, Rockler offers replacements. Here's the second must-have feature, tool activation. Its onboard 110-volt socket powers a saw, router, sander, or other tool you're using up to a 7-amp draw. When the tool starts, the dust extractor starts. It also has a shut-off delay that runs the motor for 5 more seconds after the tool shuts off to clear any residual dust. A third impressive feature of this machine is how quiet it is. Listen. If you've ever had a shop vacuum that's so ear-splittingly loud you feel like you're standing next to a jet engine, you're going to love this improvement. The extractor operates at less than 70 decibels, which is well within the NIOSH recommended exposure limit of 85 decibels, in which hearing protection is recommended. But the real measure of a shop vacuum or dust extractor is its performance at sucking up dust and debris. And Rockler has engineered this machine to stand and deliver in that regard. Its powerful 8-amp motor produces 85 cubic feet per minute of suction, so it'll make quick work of your big shop cleanup jobs. And the plastic 9-gallon capacity tank will hold a lot of debris. All that dry dust and debris ends up inside this disposable paper filter bag, which makes cleanup convenient. You don't have to dump the tank and raise a cloud of dust in the process. Just detach the bag from its port in the tank and throw it away. The HEPA filter is easy to clean too. If it clogs with dust, push this filter cleaning button 4 or 5 times. A pulse cleaning feature dislodges the dust so you don't have to remove and clean the cartridge manually. If you leave the paper filter bag off, this dust extractor and its washable plastic tank are suitable for wet cleanup jobs too. And there are many more good standard features. Like all the best shop vacuums, it comes with 2 extension wands, a floor brush, a utility nozzle, and a crevice tool. And they all store on the 4 caster assemblies. You get 12 feet of ribbed hose that locks securely to the dust tank port so it won't fall out, and it stows conveniently on the machine under this rubber strap. Rockler also includes this handy adapter that makes the hose compatible with many 2¼ inch inside diameter dust-right fittings, couplers, and ports. The tank port also fits hoses from Rockler's popular Dust-Right Flexiport power tool hose kits. Or you can add a Flexiport Click Connect adapter for shop vacuum hoses to the extractor's hose, so the hose works with any Click Connect accessory. With all these standard features and capabilities, here's a machine that'll be useful around the shop, for a variety of household cleanup chores, or for vacuuming out the car, boat, or camper. 20 feet of power cord offers lots of reach from wall outlets, and it winds up neatly under the handle when you're done. The extractor weighs less than 24 pounds when the tank is empty, so it's easy to lift and carry. And oversized 3-inch casters can navigate rough surfaces wherever your cleanup tasks may be. Rockler's Dust-Right tool-activated HEPA dust extractor promises to be the best all-around shop, home, and vehicle cleanup tool you own. See it at your local Rockler store or learn more.
So my slide gives away the price. I was going to stop and ask what you think that thing might cost.
I'm going to say about $299.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I put the price of the replacements because often that's what costs you more than the tool to begin with, is what you use to keep it running cleanly. But one of the reasons I chose this as the starting tool to talk about is because most people, when they start out, don't start with a full-on dust collector per se. They have hand tools and other tools around the shop, and buying a shop vac is much more affordable. They may already own one, but in this case, one of the advantages of this particular tool, and we also, of course, sell Festool dust extractors, the price on this is about half of what you would start at on a Festool. And the real advantage is it includes the HEPA filter capacity, because that will require or will allow the filtration to go down to 0.9 or 99.5% filtration. So you don't get a whole lot of dust out of the machine. I will point out that the bags are important to use. I know a lot of people, when they come into the store, talk about the fact that they don't use bags in their shop vacs, but those bags are actually filter bags, meaning that when you're sucking something up into the dust extractor, it first goes there before it hits that filter, so it will prolong the life of your HEPA filter. And at $40, I probably would want that to last quite a while. Does anybody have a question about these, or no? Yeah.
I just had a question on the filters, if those are standard and the same to be used with most other shop vacs as well, or are they special sized?
I think they're the standard size. Okay. Yeah.
On the tool activation, did it say 8? It starts at 8 amps?
Yes. You can run virtually any hand tool on it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I could run my router on it as well. And I have a Porter Cable 890.
Do you remove the HEPA for wet operation?
Yes. Take the HEPA filter off and then just run it without the bag in there, and then it's easy to clean out and dry out.
You know what it draws average?
I believe it will only draw 8 amps.
No, I'm talking about the unit itself.
No, I don't. I don't have an answer for that. Is the concern primarily about what kind of tools you can plug into it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on a 15 amp circuit.
Oh, yeah, it will run under that. I don't think it's allowed to pull more than 8 amps. All right, one of the reasons I started with that, like I said, was because most new beginners don't have the shop to put this out. This is the very first thing you see when you come into the Rockler store. It is hooked up so that you can try it. It's got a sander hooked up to it. And I'll tell you, when you turn it on, as he played it, this is live, it is very, very quiet. When you're running it with just a standard oscillating sander, the sander is louder than the dust extractor. So I think Rockler did a really good job in developing this tool. It took a long time to get out. But if you have a shop vac and are dealing with loud noises and things like that and need the tool activation, a tool activation alone would cost you another $50 to $100, depending on where you get it, to be able to add that to your shop vac. So it's a nice tool. The next thing we're going to talk about, and he mentioned it in the video about this, and I have a video on these, but I will tell you a little bit about myself. I started woodworking, well, like a lot of people, I started in the Cub Scouts, building stools and pine wood derby cars. But anyway, most of what I did was with hand tools. Eventually, I got to the point where I was using oscillating sanders, jigsaws, and other hand tools in the shop, and I ran across a situation where I was refinishing a piece of furniture, and that piece of furniture required lots and lots of sanding. So I sanded for about 4 or 5 hours. That was before I bought a Rotex. That sander produced enough sand, even though it was a DeWalt sander. Even though the bag was on there, the entire shop was covered in dust. I spent about 3 hours that afternoon cleaning the shop, getting everything that I had caused a mess with. And the next day I went to Rockler. And I came across the older version of this, which was a black heavy hose. And all of the ports that you see up there twisted into the end of the hose. I came home, I used it the next day to finish my project. I was like, this is fantastic. I don't have to clean up for hours when I'm done with my project. The point is, then I kept switching tools. And the hard part about the tool was that twisting those in, taking it out, twisting it in, is time consuming, and sometimes it's really difficult to get it to work. So Rockler this last spring came out with this FlexiPort kit, and I'm going to let them tell you a little bit more about it.
Dust collection is very important to woodworkers, and it's something that Rockler is committed to leading the way in innovation and providing solutions for all types of dust collection challenges. One of Rockler's biggest innovations is the Click Connect and FlexiPort family of hoses, fittings, and tool accessories. What started as 2 hose kits that included our FlexiPort flexible tool fittings has expanded to a collection of fittings, adapters, and tool ports to suit just about any portable or benchtop tool operation. Today, we're going to go through the entire line of Click Connect products, but first, let's review what makes this system so popular and beneficial to woodworkers. The Click Connect fittings and ports make it fast and easy to switch your dust collector hose between multiple tools or accessories. You simply push the hose adapter into the tool fitting or accessory to connect, then squeeze the side tabs on the hose adapter to disconnect. The connection is the same for FlexiPort fittings, special tool fittings, and accessory tools. All of these fittings are interchangeable with the Click Connect hose adapter. Now let's take a look at each component in the family, starting with the hose kits. We offer 2 hose kits, a 3 to 12 foot expandable hose kit and a 12 foot fixed length hose kit. Both kits include 4 FlexiPort Click Connect tool fittings, a Click Connect hose fitting, and 2 1/4 inch swivel port for connecting to standard shop vacuums. Add the 1 1/2 inch sliding dust hose cord clips to attach your portable power tool cord to the dust hose and prevent it from getting tangled or in the way. These hose kits are a great way to get into the Click Connect system, but we also offer this hose adapter that fits most other shop vacuum hoses. One end of this adapter connects to any of our Click Connect accessories, while the other end features multiple sleeves that are tapered to fit any hose between 1 1/2 inches and 2 1/2 inches in diameter, including Festool hoses. This adapter makes it easy to add Click Connect capability to most shop vacuums, extractors, and even larger dust collectors. That covers the dust hose end of the Click Connect system. Now let's take a look at the variety of versatile attachments that you can choose from. The needle nose crevice tool easily cleans in hard-to-reach areas, such as inside your table saw, or router table, or those deep crevices in your car. The flexible crevice tool is also great for cleaning hard-to-reach areas, and its flexibility helps it work in and around tight spaces without breaking. The bench brush tool is sure to be a favorite for a lot of woodworkers. No need to grab your dustpan when sweeping off your workbench or tools. The dust is collected right at the brush as you sweep. The bench brush tool also includes this handy docking station that keeps the tool ready where you need it most often. That covers the general cleaning attachments, but there are a couple specific tool attachments we can look at. The Whirlwind Router Dust Extraction System surrounds your router bit to clear debris from the top of the workpiece. It includes a plate that attaches to most mid-size routers and a clever rotational adjustment system that allows the shroud to move up and down, ensuring that the bit is completely enclosed. The drill dust boot surrounds the drill bit to capture drilling dust at the source. The drill dust boot can be used on its own or mounted to the Rockler portable drill guide. It surrounds the bit, giving you maximum suction and minimal chance of stray shavings in the shop or on a job site. And if you work with tools that have a 2 1/2 inch dust port, the FlexiPort 2 1/2 inch fitting adapter makes those ports compatible with the Click Connect hose connector. The Click Connect system of hoses, fittings, and attachments is designed to make your dust collection quick and easy. Mix and match the components that best suit the types of dust collection challenges you face.
Sorry about the timing on that. You didn't miss much, just the ad at the end. Does anybody have any questions about the Click to Connect? I think this is one of the most innovative and useful tools that we sell.
With a Click Connect, can you pull it around and not have it come out?
Absolutely. One of the things that they did, you may notice the blue connectors on the end of the silicone there. Those are designed to squeeze down on the tool so it won't come out of the thing. Now, if you're talking about on the shop vac side of it, that's probably going to
Well,
be...
I wouldn't do it with that, but I'm talking about a small one.
About what?
Something smaller than a shop vac.
Oh. Yeah, a power tool?
No, a vacuum.
I'm not sure I'm following your question. Okay. I apologize.
A vacuum that rolls around on the floor.
Right.
If you pull it.
Oh, it'll come off the tool?
Yes.
Yeah, these don't come off.
Okay.
No. There are 4 different sizes, guys. There's a 3/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch, and 1 1/2 inch silicone port that comes with every kit. And then the other 2 things that you see there, the one right next to the hose is the connection to your shop vac, and that goes in one end of the hose, and the other end of the hose is the actual click to connect port. How many of you already own the black version of this? Okay, just so you know, you can buy just that end piece and upgrade your existing system into the click to connect system. When it first came out last spring, they did offer a upgrade kit for the existing kits because they didn't have them all together. They were available at that time, but we no longer have those upgrade kits because you can buy any of these pieces a la carte in the store. Some of the accessories that they came out in the last 6 months, I brought along with me, and I feel free after we're done meeting, but I will point them out. He mentioned this one. This is the dust for shop vacuum hoses. This one will slide into the shop vacuum, and then you have click connect now on your shop vacuum hose. I believe, and I did bring the prices on all these, so if you have questions about price, I do have that. Most of these run $7.99 or $9.99 for the actual ports. Some of the tools, I believe the bench brush is, I believe, $19.99. Don't quote me on that. I brought both of these too, so you can get your hands on them and feel them. This one's more sturdy than this one. It's got a little bit of flexibility in it. But it's a really good system, and I think it's one of the most innovative and useful systems for people who are starting out or for people who are just sanding. You know, sanding is a big issue. One question I get all the time, yes, it does fit Festool ports. So if you can't afford a Festool dust extractor and hose, this is a good way. I still use this with my Rotex sander that I bought last year, and I use the 1 1/2 inch port to connect it. Any other questions before I move on? Yeah.
If you're using the shop vac, what's the maximum length of the run that's recommended?
The hose?
The hose, or if the hose, you're hooking it up to something else?
I use a hose at home that's 40 feet, and believe it or not, it's still adequate for collecting dust. One of the things that I would talk about, and I don't know everyone's expertise when it comes to dust collection, but the main thing that you need to consider when you're talking about dust collection is whether or not you're picking the dust up off the ground, off the tool, or whether you're getting it already airborne off of the tool itself. So a router bit spinning, a saw blade turning, whatever, is going to cause that dust to be airborne. Dust collection is all about CFM, cubic feet per minute, and how much air can be moved by it. I worked for an engineering firm for 10 years before I came to Rockler, and they made air conditioning systems, and I heard nothing but thermodynamics talk around my work, and I know nothing about it. But I can tell you that the more air you move, the better your dust collection is going to be as far as coming off of your tool. The other side of that is when your dust is already on the floor, that's where the shop vac excels. So a lot of people want to use the big dust extractors or dust collectors to clean up off their floor. And I will tell you, we do that at the store all the time. But I can tell you for sure that the shop vac is better at picking up the chunks of wood, the pieces of metal or whatever that end up on the floor if you drop screws or anything like that. So I definitely think that this is a good tool, especially if you're still using like jigsaws or any of those kinds of tools. It's a nice way to get dust extracted so it's not going through the bag system that most of those tools come with. Any questions? Any more questions?
Will this work adequately with a planer?
A thickness planer?
Yep.
I probably would say no. Even some of, you will find on, if most of you have DeWalt, I think that's probably the most popular planers. They have an ejection fan on one model of those that will exceed how fast you can collect the dust off of it. I will say though, I have a 5 horsepower shop vac at home, and I used that with my saw stop for about 4 years before I bought a dust collector. It would do it, but I would also get to clean it up as it filled up the cabinet. So it's probably better to have more CFM, and I don't have to do that anymore, so it's nice. Dust separators. So this tool is great, and how many of you have this or something like it? Okay. Dust right separators have been around a long, long time. This is the one that we sell. Oneida, of course, started with the Dust Deputy. There are many, many different iterations of them. This one is designed specifically for shop vacs. You'll notice it's a 2.5-inch port. Don't recommend putting anything more than that on there. We've seen them implode. It's made out of plastic. So if I wanted to go the next level with this dust extractor, I could just connect it to one of these dust separators, and now the dust will end up in the dust separator bin and save my filter even more as I'm working with it.
A shop vacuum is a very useful tool in all sorts of woodworking applications. Unfortunately, in no time at all, the filter on your vacuum becomes clogged, affecting the performance of your machine. Well, not anymore. It's time to turn your ordinary shop vacuum into a 2-stage dust extractor with the Dust Right separator, a chip separator that stops the debris before it gets to your vacuum's filter. The Dust Right separator creates a cyclonic airflow that causes most wood chips, sawdust, and other materials that are heavier than air to separate, preventing them from being passed to the vacuum. This keeps your filter clean and your vacuum running at peak performance and causes less stress on the motor. The separator bucket is made of durable translucent plastic with an easy-to-see fill line that indicates when it's time to empty the container. The large 10-gallon container holds twice as much as the competitors, so you don't need to empty it as often. The unique 2-piece bucket is easy to assemble. Simply align the pieces and snap them together. 5 swiveling casters are included. They snap into the base of the container to provide stability and mobility when moving around the shop. Connecting the hoses to the input and output ports in the lid is extremely easy. Since the hoses plug into the ports, they make a very secure connection and resist pulling off. This makes it easy to connect to a variety of power tools, including a router table setup. Included with the separator is a 36-inch flex form hose, which is used to connect your separator to your shop vacuum. To connect your separator to a machine or floor sweep, you can use the hose that came with your vacuum or purchase the shop vacuum hose kit, a handy accessory to the separator that expands to 12 feet and compresses to 2 feet in length when at rest. A handy accessory to keep the dust hose neatly on board is the Dust Right hose holder, sold separately. The Dust Right separator, another great innovation by Rockler. Available at rockler.com or your local Rockler retailer.
So,
one of the best ways to improve performance on any dust collection system is to add a cyclonic separator. Here's how it works. The dust collector's fan draws the dust and chips into the cyclonic chamber, swirling the dust particles into a vortex. Centrifugal force then pushes the larger wood chips to the outside wall of the chamber where gravity takes over and pulls them down into the collection hopper or bag. And the smallest particles are drawn out of the top of the chamber and move onto the dust collector's filter and dust bag. Cyclonic separators have been used for almost 100 years in industrial settings. They are those huge cone-shaped towers you see next to many commercial shops, like this one at the Rockler headquarters. You can get the same benefit of a cyclone separator when using your smaller dust collector. The Dust Right HEPA Cyclone Dust Collector features a built-in cyclone separator. If you've already got a 4-inch dust collector like this Dust Right wall mount 1250 or 650, you can turn it into a 2-stage collector and improve its efficiency by installing this 4-inch wall mount dust separator in line with your 4-inch system. The wall mount design keeps it up and out of the way, so you can see when the bag is getting full and easily twist to detach for emptying. Finally, if you use a 2.5-inch diameter hose system like a shop vacuum, you can still add cyclone separator performance with a 2.5-inch dust separator. Now you might be wondering, how much of a difference do these really make? And it all sounds great, but seeing is believing. Let's do a side-by-side comparison using the 4-inch dust separator and the Dust Rite 1250 wall-mounted dust collector. Let's see what happens. So I have 2 bins of sawdust here containing a mixture of fine particles and also larger chips. We'll collect 1 bin using the collector without the separator. And the second bin with the separator, and then compare. Now, let's compare the bags. So where did all the dust go when we used the separator? Well, most of it's right here in the separator and didn't even make it over to the dust collector, which means that we had a cleaner air filter, giving us better airflow and better dust collection.
So I started to say, we just came out with the 4-inch version of this, and I can tell you from using this, I had a 650 dust collector. A lot of you, I've already heard from a couple of people this evening that have that dust collector. It's been out for a long time. I use that new one with ours, and it separates just about everything out. You have very, very little left over. Well, what does that translate into? Well, it translates into less filters, less changes. The change on the 4-inch model is super easy. It's a keyhole is how it hooks on there. You raise the bag up, align the keyholes, and turn it maybe 1/2 inch, and it locks on there. So it's very easy to empty and change. Any questions about those products? It all comes down to 2 things, guys. The dust collection is about, and it started out as about cleaning up your shop while you're working, because a clean shop is a safer shop. The next part of it, though, is also your health. And I think when you keep your filters clean, that's when you have a more safe environment to work in, because your filters are going to filter out the small particles in your shop. The next product we're going to talk about just came out this year. It's our cyclonic dust collector. It's a 1250 CFM dust collector, and it has a HEPA filter on it. So it is, comparing it apples to apples with some of the other systems. I heard somebody mention the Grizzly earlier. This is a wall-mounted system. You do have to mount it. I wish I could have brought it, but it's too heavy to bring. But when you hang it on the wall, it does have to be at the right height to fit that canister, which is, it seems to me, fairly low, but it's not as big as you think it is. Come by the store and take a look at it before you purchase it. I have the Laguna version of this, and side by side they work about the same. This one's 1250, the Laguna's rated at 900 CFM. But I can tell you from my personal experience at home, the side with the HEPA filter on it has very little dust in it. I haven't emptied it but one time, and the only time I've ever had to empty it was when I wasn't paying attention while I was planing and filled it up. I filled the Cyclone all the way up and over into the bag. Anybody have questions about this? So dust collectors have evolved into this, right? They started out as a 2-bag system. The air comes through the fan and blows in. Air filters out the top and out the bottom bag. Then they added filters and plastic bags so that the air would be filtered to a higher degree. And then now they've come out with separation, which of course keeps the filter cleaner even still. So there is a lot of innovation into the dust collection world. This is the latest that Rockler has. I would just mention it also has a remote control that comes with it. I keep my remote to my dust collector right on my saw stop, and you just hit the button and it comes on when you need it to come on. There are other systems out there that you can have it turn on and off by itself, but it does come with that capability as well. Any questions about the tool? I'll start a video on it.
Cyclones separate the larger wood chips from the dust stream and deposit them in a separate collection drum. The rest of the dust stream, the small sawdust, continues on to the filter and then ends up in the dust bag. Now you may have noticed that this filter canister is HEPA rated, which stands for High Efficiency Particulate Air Filter or High Efficiency Particulate Absorbing Filter, a rating that requires a filter that removes 99.5% of particles. Those aren't the only benefits of this machine. This is the only wall-mounted cyclone unit available, which has the advantage of freeing up floor space. The chip collecting drum is easy to take off, and it has a wire basket to keep the plastic bag from getting sucked up into the impeller. And maybe the most important, it runs on 115 volt power, regular household current, to drive the 1.5 horsepower motor. No expensive rewiring required. This unit will collect dust from your whole shop. Table saws, router tables, you name it. This new Cyclone dust collector will keep your shop clean. I'm Rob Johnstone from Woodworkers Journal. Thank you for watching.
All right. So when customers come into the store, the very first thing that we see is people scratching their heads a little bit because of all of the different varieties of ways you can connect your power tools to a dust collector. We've all seen the piped systems, but Rockler came out with and innovated this system. The ports that you see in this picture are specifically designed to fit on a 2.5 or to a 4-inch port. The system that we're looking at comes with both sets, and it comes with the clamps that you need to connect the hoses to the handle and also to the ports.
Controlling workshop dust is crucial for your health and safety, but not everybody wants a complicated, plumbed-in dust collection network. With Rockler's exclusive Dust Right system, you don't need one. The versatile Dust Right line of 4-inch tools, hoses, and accessories enables anyone to extend dust collection to every machine in their shop and makes cleanup a breeze, too. The centerpiece of the system is the 4-inch quick change handle. It features a sturdy, comfortable grip and an airflow adjustment vent. One end of the handle connects to any 4-inch diameter dust hose, including the expandable Dust Right hose, which is available in 3 length ranges. The other end fits snugly over Dust Right couplers you mount to your bench or wall, or to Dust Right ports you mount to the 2.5-inch or 4-inch dust ports on your tools. The tool ports have flexible rubber ends and come with hose clamps to achieve a tight fit, even if the tool's ports vary slightly in size. Rockler also offers a huge range of specialized ports and adapters if your tool has a different size port. Because the handle is so easy to connect and disconnect, and the hose stretches up to 7 times its original length, you can move dust collection from tool to tool across your shop, eliminating the need for the costly, time-consuming installation of fixed ductwork. You also have the freedom to move your tools around without being tied.
All right. So you get the idea. I brought all of the connections for that system, and I will point to a couple of them that we use a lot at the store. This is the 4-inch port. That handle fits on this. You can mount this on your tool. I actually have this mounted to the bottom of my saw stop. If you've been around a saw stop very often, the ports wrap around the back side of the saw, so it's kind of difficult to get to if you have an outfeed table. So this kind of thing allows you to relocate your connection point to the saw. The only thing it does not come with is the screws, and I usually just use sheet metal screws to screw it in, or wood screws if you're screwing it into wood. But these are great ports. They come in the 4-inch. It comes in a 4.5-inch version, so you can reduce with it. And it also comes with the smaller version that you can use with your dust extractor. This is the part of the program where we get to talk about, everybody's seen the Apple videos where they introduce new things. This actually made it onto the website yesterday. Rockler is going to be introducing their own ceiling air filtration units. This first one is designed specifically to fit between the joists in your basement if you happen to have a basement shop. It's just like most of the others. It has a 3-pocket filter followed by a paper filter and a pre-filter and a 3-speed fan so that you can set the air circulation to different CFM levels. One thing that they did that most other air filtration systems on the market don't have is LED lighting. I can tell you I have the jet version of this in my shop, and it causes shadows all over the place. So I think this was a good innovation to add the LED lighting. It's interesting that they also took into effect that not every home has the same size of joist, so that there are holes on the sides of the unit so that you can raise or lower it depending on the size of your joists in your basement. Of course, it comes with a remote control because most of the time you're going to mount this maybe in a place that you can't get to it, or you just want to turn it on and off at the time. These also have timers on them, so it allows it to run after you're out of the shop. This is going to sell for $399, which is roughly $150 or $200 less than the one that we sell currently for the jet system. I will tell you a little story. My wife's shop, her sewing room, I should say, is right outside the door to my shop. And I came home from work one day with one of these air filtration systems. She gave me all kinds of grief about spending $450 on it.
Thank you. I do appreciate it.
And I said, well, I didn't spend it for me. You know, I spent it for you so that you don't have dust all over your sewing machines. But I will tell you, if you're skeptical about having one of these, it makes a huge difference. So this unit's the compact unit's $399, comes with everything you see there. It comes with quite a bit of the hardware you would need to mount it up there. I don't know much about it other than they just introduced it. It's coming. I believe it's supposed to be in the stores right about Thanksgiving. And then they're also going to be producing the full-size version of this unit. You will see it's got the same filter system, just different size, 3-speed fan, pocket filter. This one you can hang from your joists if you want to hang them. That's basically how mine is hanging in my shop. It does have the LED lighting as well, and of course comes with a remote control. This one's going to be selling for $479 when it gets to the store. So it's $80 less than the jet version of this. There are lots of different air filtration systems, but keep in mind dust extraction is getting the dust off the tool, but dust is going to get past, none of it's perfect. Dust is going to get past the dust collection, and it will be floating ambient in the air. You'll be breathing that in, and that's where this cycles the air repeatedly through the hour. So depending on your shop size, you can scale as what size of air filtration unit you might need. This is the size I have in my shop. I have a 36 by 16 shop in my basement, and it filters the air in my shop about 6 times an hour. So it's very good at it. I don't have any dust laying on my tools the next day because it does have a timer on it. You can set it for 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, and it allows it to run after you're done working in your shop, thus cleaning the air until such a time that there's no longer any particles floating around in your shop. Something not mentioned, and I don't have a video for, but this came out last year, and I did bring some in here so you can see it live, but this 4-inch starter kit comes with what you see on the screen there. It's got the connection point and then the manifold. You squeeze the button and you can move it back and forth. This is, you probably have seen this on YouTube, but you know, Rockler didn't invent the concept. They just made it fit into their system. But I haven't incorporated this into my system yet, but I will tell you that if you have an area of your shop that you're trying to get to that is far away from the tools, this is a nice way to be able to switch between them and reduce the amount of piping you have to your tool. And the reason that works is because, and incidentally, they have also made it so that you can expand it. There's an expansion kit. So it comes with 2 ports, and then you can buy as many of these as you want. And you can see they connected 4 hoses going to 4 different tools. The idea is that I can move the incoming port with the dust collection on it to any of those tools. It's a nice way to reduce, like I said, the surface area and the amount of air that you have to suck from your dust collector back to the tool. You're only pulling it from 1 tool at a time instead of all 4 of them. So this summer, my team and I have put together and executed a plan to redesign, reset the entire store. It's much different than it used to be. For those of you I've seen in there over the last couple of weeks, you probably could attest to that. We finally got all our signs up today. They came in, so you can find things, but we're of course there to help you find them. But this weekend is the last day of our grand reopening celebration. There's a couple of things about the grand opening celebration, one of which is these 14 items, I believe it is, are at substantial, if not 50%, close to 50% off the regular prices. I put them on here just so that you can see that. I know I brought 1 or 2 of them with me, and no, I can't check you out here. But if you come up to the store this weekend, this particular kit, which includes the floor sweep, the bench sweep, and the handle, and I believe it also includes a tool port. This kit normally sells for $129. It's $54.99, and I have a bajillion of them. They sent me a ton of them, so come get one. One that may point, I think is a good deal is the 6-tier lumber rack is half price at $24.99. And we've got clamps, we've got a pin mill press. If you're a turner, the high-speed steel turning set is $179 instead of $299, so it's not quite 50%, but pretty good deals. I don't have pictures of these. I wanted to, but I ran out of time today. Any other questions? I didn't take a picture of that. I'm sorry. I actually thought about it. We do have a lathe collection system. I don't know how effective it is. It's fairly small. I will tell you, somebody else was talking about their radial arm saw earlier this evening and trying to collect dust with that. If you're familiar with the big 12 by 12 port that we have, or we've had, Rockler is releasing sometime in the next few months their own version of that. And it has places that you can use fence clamps or regular clamps to hold it. You can also screw it, or it's got keyhole ports on it. You can stand it up and direct it. So there's lots of ways that that particular tool would be useful in that case. Anybody else? All right, well, I let the pros do a lot of the talking tonight. I appreciate you all enduring that. I did bring a couple of things that I wanted to point out. We didn't talk about a lot of ported systems, but my shop uses a combination of Schedule 20 PVC. Everybody familiar with Schedule 20? So normal plumbing is Schedule 40. Schedule 20 is designed primarily for taking water off your roof or something like that. It's very thin walled, but it's enough for dust collection. I point this out because in the store, you will see and they color coded these to make it easier now. They used to be all the same color. These are 4-inch to Schedule 40 ports, so you can put Schedule 40 piping inside here and then switch between either fittings like this or the hose itself. That's what those 2 different colors are for. We sell those in the store. Unfortunately, these are sold on our website. So if you do build your system, I will tell you, in my own experience, Schedule 20 costs about half as much as Schedule 40, and these cost half as much as those. So plan ahead. We can place the order for you. You can place the order for yourself, but these run $9.99, those run $19.99. So a big difference in how much you spend on your ports. One thing I didn't say much about, but Rockler came out with these. I don't know if you've seen these or not. What's unique about them is that you'll see on all of our fittings, we now have this ridged area that there are ridges inside of this. The purpose of that is to keep this from moving around. They're very nice. They're made of a high polymer plastic. They screw right to your wall or whatever it is you're going to use it for. Before we even put them on the shelves, I bought some of these for my miter saw stand. It works fantastic. So these run about $12, I believe. And then, of course, the ports. We've got ports of every kind. You may have seen this on our website. These just came out. So why did they come out with that? Well, the purpose of these is so that you have a way to get around something unique. You can twist and turn these to get around a pipe to, you know, if your pipe's here and you're tooled, or you got a joist or something you got to get under, you've got a way to redirect the piping, and it's unique. It moves any which way you want. Nice little tool. This one's about $15 as well. With that, if there are no more questions, I'll be up here after the meeting. If you have questions about this stuff, I'm more than willing to sit here and chat with you. All right, thank you.